Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Quantum Leap. I'm your host, Toyin Umesiri, author of Mindset of an Entrepreneur. Today, I want to share with you the power of listening to your clients and customers. You see, we're living at a time where listening is becoming very difficult, right? Our minds are being trained, okay, to take in a lot of information, but we're not giving ourselves enough time to slow down enough to process the information. And the heart of listening is really, bringing in as much information as possible before we conclude, right? Before we arrive at a conclusion, before we make decisions. And one of the things that I've seen entrepreneurs make, one of the mistakes that most entrepreneurs make when they start their journey is that they make a lot of assumptions. Okay? Is that when you come into the marketplace with your own way of thinking, with your own belief system, with your own value system, we tend to make assumptions that other people understand what we understand, other people believe what we believe, other people see what we see, other people think like we think, and other people arrive at the same conclusions that we've arrived at. And so when entrepreneurs start their journey, they tend to come into the marketplace with all of their own assumptions of how life is, of what they think their clients and customers need, of how they believe the market will respond, right? If I say buy this, then they are going to buy. If I say this is why, then they were going to understand. We come in with a lot of assumptions. And the heart of listening is shifting off. It's going to shift you from making assumptions to really understanding reality. Okay? Because when your assumptions clashes with reality, oftentimes entrepreneurs react. When you are surprised by the things your customers are saying, right, by what your clients are saying, by how the market is responding to your business, to your product and services, oftentimes first-time entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs tend to react. Okay? And reaction means you're surprised, right? When your assumptions are confronted reality and there's a gap, the way you think, what you believe is different from how the market is responding to you. Your ability to close that gap requires you to slow down enough to then listen. So I say, don't react, don't just respond, just listen. Because what the market tells you, what your prospects tell you, what your clients and customers tell you, that's where the gold is. You want to act based on information, based on data that they've provided to you. You want to provide solutions to the problems they've told you they have, right? You want to seek to understand what those problems are, not through your lens, but through their own reality. You also want to listen to how they describe those problems. There's a certain language that you're going to find your clients or customers are using to describe their challenges, their goals, their aspiration. And that language in of itself ought to inform your marketing, branding, and right sales strategy. Because what I have found is that there's a disconnect in language sometimes, is that as a technical expert, as a knowledge expert, there might be a certain way you tend to describe the problem. There's a certain way you tend to describe the solution. And the disconnect may be in language, the words you're using to describe that does not resonate, okay, to the same words that a layperson, your client and customer might use. So let me give you an example. Think about a doctor or a dentist, a professional, right, in their own field. As you know, doctors have a lot of words, a lot of technical words, right, that they've mastered, that they can use to explain diseases and situations and pain. They have a lot of technical lingo that they learnt in school of what the problems are, the disease names, the medical names, the chemical names, right? Doctors are well informed around the technical aspects of the medical field. But their patients, the people they're here to serve, does not speak the same language. Imagine if doctors start telling you and talking to you, oh, I don't even know what to use, like examples. Oh, have you thought about this? The arteries, the organs. If you go in to see your doctor and your doctor starts throwing at you technical lingo, you're going to be lost. You're like, I didn't go to your school. I've not read your books. I don't understand what you are saying. And so that's what I'm seeing in the marketplace today, is that professionals, solution providers, business owners are throwing words out there that are more technical and not easy to digest and comprehend by the market. So people are not responding because you are confusing them. So when I talk about emotional intelligence, the psychology of buying, is that this is one of the things we need to understand, that if the minds of your prospects, is not trained to interpret the words you're using about the problems and the solution, you're losing them. So part of this is also making sure you are able to educate them, but you cannot educate them if you don't communicate in a way that they understand. So listening, part of the benefits of listening as well is to understand the language that your prospects are using to describe whatever it is they are navigating. Whatever those problems are, you want to know the names that they call those problems. You want to understand the words that they use to describe those problems. Because when it comes to communication, you want to start where people are at and then bring them closer to your own comprehension. So how you connect in the marketplace is really to resonate. And in order to resonate, you have to speak their language. You have to speak in a way that they understand you, that their minds can wrap around what it is you're saying, that emotionally they can be moved to build trust with you. And also you want them to conclude that you understand them, right? That you see them and that you're speaking directly to their needs. This is the secret, is that you use words that they understand to describe the problems they're navigating. Because when you use words they do not understand, you lose them. There's distance between you, the people, right? Between the people you want to serve and yourself, is that there's a language barrier. So you want to close that by listening. One of the things you also want to listen for in the marketplace is the value, right? Is that you as the business owner, you perceive the value, you know the value through your own lens of what you've created, your product and services. However, do they agree with you? How does your customers interpret value? What do they value? And do they value it enough to commit to taking action and to investing financially in your solution? You want to listen for that, because when people make assumptions in pricing, when people make assumptions in presenting their product and services, and you say this is the value, you also want to listen if they agree with you, right? Because that gap, you can close that gap through your marketing, right? You can use your marketing to continue to help them see, right, and raise the value to a point where they understand. Because ultimately, your prospect, your clients and customers must value your product and services enough to pay you for those products and services. So it's not about what you think is valuable. It's actually what they believe is valuable, right? So you may come in and say, this is valuable, but ultimately your journey is to make sure that they agree with you, right? That they see what you're seeing, they understand what it is you're presenting, and they also acknowledge the usefulness of your product and services. Because you may consider it to be useful, but trust me, They have to fit it into their own reality for them to invest in it. So this requires us to step out of our own mindset, our own belief system, and seek to understand the realities of your clients and customers, the condition in which they exist, they live in. Because out of that condition, out of that mentality, out of that reality is where they make their own decisions, when they arrive at conclusions, okay, and then they make decisions. One of the things I also say and teach on is that we cannot think for our customers and clients. You cannot think for them. Our job is to give them something to think about. Let me say that again. Our job is to present messages. Our job is to present offers. Our job is to present opportunities that they can consider, that they can think about. So we have to get really great at our presentation, our offers, right? And then listening for their own reaction, listening for their own response. And that's where a conversation gets started. Okay? So a conversation is two-way, and the principle of sales actually requires the clients and customers to move closer, to show interest, and to move closer to you. That's a secret for success, is that many times entrepreneurs are constantly putting messages out there, constantly presenting things out there, but they are not listening to the reactions and the response of their clients, their prospects, their potential customers. Is that when you put a message out there, when you put, right, through your marketing plan, you tell them the story of who you are, your branding, you position yourself in the marketplace. When you present your offer, are you listening for their response and reaction? Right? And also their objections, right? And maybe their resistance, objections, resistance. Because that is a clue for you to understand what's going on in their heart and in their mind. What's holding them back? What thoughts are holding them back from taking the action to invest in the products and services? You need to listen to that. You need to understand. If you need to conduct surveys, if you need to go out there, if you need to do interviews, just put yourself in a listening position to ask people, what do you think about those products? How useful do you think it is? Because at the beginning stage, when you gather that information, we can then use that for marketing, for your sales process, because you are presenting to them what they already tell you that they want, what they have already told you that they need, what they've already told you that they value and they are ready to invest in. That is the fastest way to close deals. Not with your own assumptions, not with your own mindset, not with your own heart, but actually the mindset, the emotions, the actions, the behaviors, the beliefs of your prospects. That is the key of connecting with them and then building trust and then selling to them. Because a sale is an agreement that a transaction exchange is ready to happen. Is that when we bring our products and services to the marketplace, it's not a one-sided transaction. Okay? We bring our offers, but they have to bring their own belief system, right? Their own mind, their own thoughts around what it is, right? Because ultimately, transaction is a value exchange, right? Is that your products and services is valuable to you. Their money, their time, their energy is valuable to them. In order for the transactions to happen, in order for the exchange to happen, in order for sales to happen, is that you have to agree, okay, with them and they have to agree with you. And in order for you to have an agreement, you need to listen, right? And so today, I just want to encourage you to slow down, to understand and listen to what's going on in the hearts and minds of your prospects, because therein lies the gold, therein lies the opportunity to serve them in their own needs, on their own journey to achieve their own goals. This is how we become service providers and problem solvers in the marketplace. And ultimately, this is what draws more clients into your business, is that when you have history of listening and solving, okay, your reputation as a a problem solver and a solution provider, that is a reputation that helps you continue to grow your bottom line. So I hope you take time out today to start listening to your clients and customers, to start listening to the marketplace, to just not react, not respond, but actually listen to the reactions and the response and the objections of those you want to sell to. Because that's when you start engaging and using that language, you're going to resonate and connect with them more. So thank you so much for joining me today on Quantum Leap. I'm your host, Toyin Umesiri. If you have more questions, do join me on my website, toyinumesiri.com, to learn more how we can support you. And I hope to see you again next time. Bye for now.